I want to bring in Democratic strategist Antoine Seawright, who is bundled up in Des Moines right now. You're going to help us unpack all of this. So, Antoine, what exactly happened with this delay?
Well, you know, I think there were several things. One, I'm not sure that the system was prepared as it should have for the overload of information from the caucuses last night. We heard there was a breakdown or a failure in the app. Unfortunately, all the sources I've heard from said there was no real testing of the app, and so the app could not anticipate the heavy traffic and disseminating 3 different levels of information that in the order of the true transparency that the Iowa Democratic Party wanted to bring forth as a result. And so because of that, you have some distrust. You have some campaigns who are feeling like the information that will come later on today hopefully will not be accurate. And so there are going to be a lot of people who have a lot of questions about this process, how it went down, what happened, and what this means for results going forward.
And the Iowa caucus is the first nominating contest. So how will this delay affect primaries moving forward and maybe some of the momentum that these candidates have?
I'm not sure it will impact, per se, the momentum going forward, because as we saw late in the hour last night, the candidates were off to focus their efforts and attention to New Hampshire, rightly so, because that is the next nomination state in this process. And in this business, you focus on what's next, and you can't do anything to change what has happened. So rightly so on the campaign part. However, I do think the momentum that candidates who were successful in Iowa were hoping to grab in order to have a full-fledged tank of gas going down the political highway into New Hampshire, that may have been, those plans may have been altered a bit.
We do know they're all declaring victory at this point. President Trump, he of course is weighing in. He's tweeted about the meltdown. So is this sort of a win for the Republican Party?
Actually, I do not, because no matter what happened last night here in Iowa, the Republican Party, particularly Donald Trump, was going to put their makeup on it to make it pretty to their constituency. So that's expected. I think the Democratic Party would have done the same thing. However, I do think, regardless of what happened last night, regardless of who the eventual winner may be based on the results, I am more confident in that person has what it takes to lead this country than Donald Trump and the Republican Party. We're in this position because of the failures of Donald Trump's presidency and the lack of leadership from the Republican Party. So the president is going to do what the president always does, try to make this about him, make the conversation about his agenda, to draw attention away from his failures and the lack of delivering on results that he promised the American people.
And Antoine, I want to play for you the phone call. The chair of the Democratic Party in Iowa released a phone call to presidential campaign managers last night. Take a listen.
Good evening, and thank you all for joining us at this time. The integrity of our process and the results have and always will be our top priority. At this point, the IDP is manually verifying all precinct results. We expect to have numbers to report later today. We want to emphasize that this is a reporting issue, not a hack or an intrusion. And it's exactly why we have a paper trail and systems in place to uphold the integrity of our process. We are updating campaigns, and we will continue to provide updates as they are available. Thank you, and we will be in touch soon.
So not a whole lot of details in that call. He said that the results would be released later today, but no exact time. So, Antoine, what are the candidates saying about that call?
Well, I'm sure there are clouds of frustration that hang over this process, and I'm sure there are voices of frustration that have been left on my dear friend Troy Price's voicemail as a result of last night. But he said everything I think we need in this moment. The integrity of this election being protected, making sure the results are where they need to be, making sure we measure 3 times, cut once, because that is what this is going to be about, upholding the needed and necessary integrity so that there is no distrust from the campaigns, from the candidates or from Iowa voters, because as a Democrat, we need the Democrats in Iowa to come back out in November. We had 2 congressional seats that Donald Trump won in 2016. The Democrats were able to win in 18. We need Democrats to come back out in November so we can hold those seats. The Iowa State House is 4 seats away from having a Democratic majority. We need up and down the ballot turnout and enthusiasm to be very high so we can deliver on the promises that the people of Iowa are so looking for and so deserving of.
All right, Antoine, stay warm in Iowa. Thank you so much.
I'm going to try.